It's the intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Good morning, Star Trek Fleet Commanders. It's patch 66. Almost like Order 66. It's crazy how things work out. But we're going to talk about that today, go over what's being added, including this new interceptor, which we previewed a little bit yesterday, give a little bit more details, including the free-to-play path that's rolling out for it, and 24,000 free event store currency. Hey, that's good. Number one, event store. Hey, event store. And yes, I've actually already talked to the Arc Runner about adding some things in, like the Borg Cube. More details on that later. But event store this month, and you're going to get some cool, juicy things, as well as a day one free-to-play path for this ship. So, while it is an interesting design, that's me being very polite, you will get a chance to go after it early on if you're a level 40 plus player. So you will see this if you come to our Twitch stream later in the day. And thanks to Ultimate DJ, we're actually going to be giving one away. So anyway, without further ado, while that starts cooking for later, we shall go ahead and start talking about the patch notes and read through them because that's where all the goodies are. So let's take a look at update 66. So my crew is a damn fine crew, just as capable, if not more so, than any other crew in the fleet. That, of course, is Mr. Pike over there being captain of the Enterprise, where this month you're going to see a few things added, not a ridiculous amount of content, which a lot of you have been kind of asking for. And as we talked about in the preview yesterday, the new ship doesn't add a new loop. It simply builds on an existing loop that they added last month. So we'll see how people end up liking this, but we have the new ship, a new Monovan refit, which our G6 players out there are really going to appreciate. Now that refit obviously is a purchased item, but that refit is going to help with their Sigma stuff. We got new officers, new missions, new primes, cosmetics, and some bug fixes, including the return of the preview boxes, which I personally am excited about. All right, Gorn Eviscerator, new ship coming for Ops 40 and above, expanding on the groundwork that the Discovery ship laid, opens up spatial rips, allowing you to bring your group into different systems. So this is something that's 15 tiers, designed to be for players level 40 through 65. So not all the way to 70, but 40 through 65. Allows the players to create a temporary one-way portal to the system they're in. Once this portal is open, a message in the Alliance chat is sent. The portal will only appear in the player's system, so you can't be in your base or anything. And an ally will need to open the system viewer of a system to be able to use the portal and insta warp to it. So this is what the button will look like in your game once you get it active, if your Alliance decides to pick up the ship today at the time of us making this video. So the spatial rip will only last for a certain amount of time. That time is determined by the tier of the ship itself. There you go. Now here's important note. Players can travel to any system within their grade or below. So for example, if a G6 player, 65, is opening a rip, they can't take you to a warp 1000 system because the G6 systems are mission locked. That said, if you're level 38 or above, you can go anywhere in G4 and G5 space using this ability. So that means that this ship could take you to warp 500. That's still pretty daggum impressive, allowing you to open up more opportunities for things like armadas. And that's the biggest way that I think this can help high-level players help low-level players, is bringing them to super deep armadas they would not normally be able to reach, allowing them to then start those armadas and get the starter chest for. But other abilities or other uses of this are also present. We'll have a video about the Eviscerator by itself coming at a later time, but we'll go over it in detail. Good news though, you get a free-to-play path day one, which is nice. All right, but remember this one, players Ops 10 and above after event reset. So I'm putting out this video before event reset, but after event reset on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, you will be able to use the code Eviscerator to get 24,000 free event store currency. Don't worry, we've already brought up to them the amount of event store currency was low last time, so we're pushing for it to be good this time. This is a 2-month arc, which historically does not have as much event store currency, but with the last one being so poor, hopefully we get better. So abilities for the ship itself, we have talked about its passive abilities, its grind. Again, the grind is simply adding to the existing hostile. Instead of a new hostile, The Gorn Hunters that exist now will be getting a new currency added to them that you can grind. And with an event now, you can go after this ship. So come up here real quick. So Hunt the Hunters and Rigorous Extraction. Hunt the Hunters is a passive ability that increases isolated damage against those Gorn Hunters. And then the Rigorous, love the word rigorous, Extraction, the Gorn Eviscerator's second ability, will amplify the Apex ISO matter that you gain from hitting Gorn Hunter hostile. So here's the loop. We did go over that again yesterday. If you need the picture to be a little bit bigger, well, here you go. Here's a bigger version of that so you can see it clearly and, you know, get all the things. For those curious, yes, we actually do have the charts for all this already made, and they are in our Discord if you haven't joined them already. Shout out to Blues and Mando, who of course helped put those together, but already got the charts. So if you're curious, that will be in the video, but if you want that stuff early, join the Discord, link in the description of this video if you want that. So let's go ahead and jump back into it. The Eviscerator provides you with the Gorn Eviscerator parts, or the refinery wheel needed for the ship, as well as other rewards like the new isolytic artifact, officer shards. I actually am really excited about getting officer shards. Just 5 officers now. I'm really excited about it in ship parts. Modding refit, I talked about this being big for our Sigma players. Sigma resources are being added to the Queen's favor claims if you have the Modding skin, as well as burning to PvE hostiles, which is, yay, more burning. Okay. Yeah, that's a Sigma thing. All right, officers, so you got Strange New World, James T. Kirk, and Pelia. Well, actually, I really like Pelia. I was really sad, spoiler, but I guess you need to be watching Star Trek. Himmer dies. Well, Pelia is actually pretty cool. So, reduces enemy shield mitigation versus non-armada hostiles with, you know, a base ability that's pretty good, and then synergy on either side. This is essentially taking the Harrison officer and putting him to like a really, really big degree of improvement. That's the idea behind that. Captain's ability, officer ability is increasing base weapons damage versus hostiles with a pretty significant boost. 3,500% at max, 200% at stock. It's not huge, but it does help out, I guess. And then you got Pelia, which is reducing isolated damage received from non-armada hostiles, which can be beneficial versus some of the ones that exist out there in the newer realms. And then the below deck ability, she does not have a captain's ability. She is a rare officer. Increases isolated defense, which is something that is set across the board. And it's called perpetually bored. All right, so that's something that could be very useful, especially when max. And again, these are going to be officers that are sourced completely, immediately, free to play, and supposedly good ones. So missions, here you go. We got lots of missions this month. And I'm never going to complain about missions because sometimes they're good, sometimes they're meh, but there are missions. So yay, missions, whee! Some people really like the missions in this game. Some people don't. I tend to be indifferent towards missions. I don't think necessarily missions are bad. Just not really as excited as some people are about missions. But anyway, random rant about missions. There you go. Here are your primes coming in. Research cost efficiency, prime wartime morale, FKR tribute are getting 2 levels added to them. Then prime temporal disruption. Temporal disruption, of course, giving you more temporal disruptors daily through the claim by increasing it by a factor of 3. Prime wartime morale is giving you an isolytic boost if you have morale. Then you have the cost efficiency now has up to level 2 and FKR level 6 and 7. I do want to point out one thing because go back to the Eviscerator real quick because I feel like I skipped it and I need to talk about it. There will be a weekly Gorn technology event. Players will be able to participate in that event that will reward players with the blueprints. Should have mentioned that in the beginning, so note on that one. Weekly event to get the Eviscerator, just like the Cerritos. So you have a day 1 ready to go event if you're level 40 plus. All right, finally, last but not least, here are your cosmetics, your event calendar, which will have a full text version of that. Of course, you get in our Discord. Shout out to Viper, who puts that together. And bug fixes. A lot of things to fix the Kashar artifact, which was a problem, rolling out immediately. The biggest one for me is the I button is back. You can actually see inside your boxes. But a couple of things being added that are important, like the Nurse Chapel officer ability, being consistent, things with Fleet Commander Spock. I mean, quite a few bug fixes here. Most of them are minor / graphical things, but still, I do like that. Main one being coming back in the game, being able to go to my faction store and then use the little boxes. Yes, like that. Anyway, that's what's coming so far this month. Don't forget we have a mid arc patch, which is normal now. Other things also coming in the event store. We'll talk about all those as the month goes. Let me know what you think about everything so far. Does this sound good? Again, not a ton getting added in terms of content, but I do think a lot of solid pathways, I would call them. I think the strategies are pretty good. I'm excited to see the event store because they are already started talking to us about some of the things that you want, which is an encouraging sign. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Live long and plunder. Stay safe out there, Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek League Man video, and we're out.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.